Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Lama AlJahdali. I am an entrepreneur and professional chef, and I'm truly honored to be standing here before you all today. Some of you may know me as the chef who got recognized by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And others of you may know me as Miss Lama, my darling former students, the most talented and brightest girls. I want to ask you a question. What do you think the formula of success is? I have come to realize that it all starts with planting a seed with good intentions, and then watering that seed with a lot of education, hope, skills, determination, and perseverance. My seed was actually planted in the very hallways of Jeddah Knowledge International School, where I had to have a personal project be done for the community. I wanted to share something that I truly loved, which was travel. And the way I knew how to share travel was through food. So I came up with the idea to make foods from all around the world to share with people who might never have the chance to travel in their lifetime. Every week I'd go down to my kitchen and cook foods from all around the world. And when I'd go present the food, I'd paint the picture. I'd tell the people to close their eyes, imagine the city, tell them how it felt like, how it looked like, and then take a bite and travel. The joy on their faces was the reason I wanted to pursue being a chef as a career. So 2 years later, because this was in the 10th grade, it was 12th grade, and I was ready to start applying to where I wanted to study. So I went to my father and I said, Baba, I want to be a chef. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I was really scared at first, but I know he'd support me. He looked at me and he said, I know, Habibti, I've seen you go in the kitchen every single day, and I want you to do something you love so you don't feel like you're working a day in your life. Thank you, Baba. He's in the audience. And so I went to one of the best schools for culinary arts, to where I was so happy to be surrounded by like-minded people. So many people who loved being in the kitchen just as much as I did. And I had very fond memories there. One of my memories was chasing a crab in the kitchen because I needed to cook it and it didn't want to be cooked. So I kept running all over the kitchen trying to catch it. I came back a year after that at 19 years old, very excited for my next adventure. I knocked on every door, and at that time, it wasn't common for a female chef to be in the kitchen. So if I wanted to be in the kitchen, I had to make waraq anab or sambusak, two things I had no idea how to make since I studied in a French school. So I kept knocking, I didn't stop until finally a door opened. And I went to them a little too dressed. So the chef there thought, this girl can't be a chef. She doesn't have what it takes. We clean floors and it doesn't look too, So he said, okay, I don't think she's gonna do it. In the test let's give her something that she's gonna absolutely hate. Would she hate chicken or meat more? She'll hate meat more. So they got me a lamb rack. They didn't know I was a Jahdali, so I'm great with meat. So all the chefs were standing in front of me, watching me, and thinking I'd fail. They didn't know that I absolutely zone out when I'm doing something I truly love. So I zoned out and I went and I asked them, how do you like your meat to be cooked? And I proceeded cooking the meat. And they clapped and they loved it and they all wanted me to be in their kitchen. I was really proud. And then I ended up working for an Argentinian chef. He was my mentor. He taught me so much of what I know. And even the days where the restaurant wasn't so packed, he made sure to make me get the true experience of being in a kitchen that was full of pressure and full of heat. And he kept telling me, Lama, you can do it. And the days I laughed and I thought, but there's no one outside, it's just 2 tables. He said, one day you're gonna understand. And he was right. 2 years later, I left to go back and continue my learning. I studied nutrition, gluten-free foods, and vegan foods, because you can never stop learning. I came back ready for my next adventure. What am I gonna do? So I asked myself, what do you like? I loved Nobu, the restaurant. It was one of my favorite places to dine. So I thought, why not work there? We had no international restaurants here in Saudi at the time. So my grandma was living in Dubai and I went to visit her. And then I applied online and I didn't get a reply yet. So my mother, thanks mama, she said, take your CV and just walk in the restaurant. And I was like, Mama, لا طبعا أكيد ما حسوي كده. And she said, trust me, just do it. And so I did. I went and I asked the waitress, can you call the chef out for me? And the sous chef came out and I gave him my CV and I said, hi chef, I'm a chef too and I'd love to be a part of your team. I want to know why this restaurant is so successful, why people are singing about it, why celebrities go and football players. I want to know. And he laughed at me. He said, this isn't how it works. You apply online, and then there's a whole process. And I said, I know, but I thought I'd just try my luck. Thank you so much. And I left. I didn't leave with a yes, but before I slept that night, I imagined what it would feel like to work with global international chefs in a very amazing restaurant, one that I truly love. So I kept envisioning it. And the next morning, I woke up from a call from the head chef himself. He said he'd like to meet me. And so I went and I met him and he said, Lama, we're looking for people like you, people with drive, people who actually want to be here. So we're gonna call you in the summer to come work, but I need to see how you work in the kitchen. Come for a few nights here in Dubai, in Nobu, and let's see. And so I bought my chef whites from there and I went in the kitchen and I started singing to the coriander as I was making the plates. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he said, are you really singing? And I said, yes, every plate needs to go out with love. Because people feel it when people make food with love. And then I went back home to Jeddah. And a couple of months later, I get a call. Lama, you're from Jeddah, right? And I said, yes, why? He said, there's something called Jeddah season, and we are being invited to come and participate as a pop-up for a month. And we're having chefs from all around the world come to be a team. And we'd love for you to be a part of our team. Would you like that? And I said, of course, I'd love that. I was so excited. But I said, okay, this is the summer. So 2 weeks, I'm going to be working with you, and the other 2 weeks, I'm going to travel with my family. And then he said, no, it's either you work with us or you go and travel with your family. And so I went to my dad, Baba, what am I going to do? This is my summer. I was working so hard all year. I need to travel. And he said, no, Lama, you're going to stay and you're going to work and it's going to pay off, I promise. And I trust him all my life, with all my decisions of my life, so thanks, Baba. And so I stayed and I worked there for a month, 16 hours a day, every single day with no days off. Now, we had global international chefs in Saudi, so I wanted them to taste Saudi since they didn't have time to go to any of the restaurants we have here. And so after my 16-hour shift every single day, I went back home and I made foods from Saudi to go in the next morning and present them to the chefs. And they loved it. It was their favorite part of the day. I was so honored. And then my lucky day came. My head chef came and he gathered us all around and he said, chefs, we have someone very important coming in. And I need you all to be very prepared. He's coming in either to our restaurant or one of the 2 other restaurants near us. And something in my heart told me that it was His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And I knew for a fact that he was going to come to the restaurant that I was working in. Why? Because he supports Saudi youth. And I was the only Saudi chef in any of the restaurants back then. And I was right. He showed up for me. It really did feel like that. So I remember him being out in the restaurant, His Royal Highness, and me peeking out in the sushi bar and being extremely excited. It was the I made it moment. And then I went back in the kitchen, preparing everything. And mind you, it was 13 men, and I was the only female in the kitchen. I was very small and petite compared to everyone there. So someone came, and they were looking for me. They said, "There's a Saudi chef here. Where is she?" And in the back of the kitchen, I started jumping. "I'm here. It's me. I'm here." And everyone was just looking at me like, what's going on? And so he said, "The Crown Prince, His Royal Highness, would like to take a photo with you." I was so shocked. I said, "What? Me? Oh my God, okay." Because before that, I was like, there's no way anyone's going to believe me. This is not real. This is not real life. And so I went to the chef who helped me get into Nobu, and I said, "You are the reason why I'm here, so would you like to take the photo with me?" And he said, "Yes, of course, I'd be honored." And so we went, and I went to meet him, and I forgot all my words. All I know how to say was, "Do you like the food?" And thankfully, he did, alhamdulillah, and we took a photo. And I went back to work, and then I was viral. My photo was all over Saudi Arabia. I was trending on Twitter, on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm sweating in the picture. What is this?" But I was really happy because I felt like after all these trials and tribulations and all my hard work, it's like something I wouldn't have ever imagined came true. And so I got called to be a judge for one of the national culinary competitions with 10,000 contestants, and I was called to be a judge for the final 5. I later got invited to Washington, D.C. for Her Royal Highness Princess Rima bint Bender's private event. And then I came here to give back to the place where I found my spark. And I taught the most wonderful students culinary arts for a year. And so, this is how my story has ended. Not yet, actually. But I'd like to give the baton to you now, the Saudi youth. Don't ever stop believing. Go after your dreams. Do what you like and share it with the world. I believe in you. Thank you so much.